Welcome and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, you're welcome. My name is Juliet. So in this video, we are going to make a short for a 1 year old baby boy. So starting with this piece of fabric, I folded it into two. First thing I'm going to do is mark 2 inches down from the top. This is going to serve as the extension that will house our elastic band later on. So I marked 2 inches down and then I ruled a line across. So our measurements are going to start from that line. First thing I did was to mark the length. I marked 8.5 for the length and I added extra 2.5 inches for hemming the lower part later on. So I'm using my ruler now to connect all these lines straight. So the next thing we're going to do now is to mark the crotch depth. So I used 6 inches for that. That was the hip measurement divided by 4. So I approximated that to 6. It wasn't up to 6. I'll leave the measurements in the description, by the way. So for the round measurements, I'm supposed to fold my fabric using the tie measurement divided by 2. This is more than that, so this is what I'm marking here now. So the tie divided by 2, I added extra 2 inches and I am marking 9 inches here. It should be 8, but I made it 9 instead. So next thing now, I'm marking the hip measurement divided by 4 plus extra 1 inch. So that gives me 7. So it is 7 inches I'm marking here on the crotch line and all the way to the top. So next I went ahead to make a curve like so. And then the next thing on the length line, I marked 6 inches for the width, although I later reduced it to 5.5 and you will see later. So I went ahead to connect back to the crotch line like so. And then the last thing we're going to do is fold in the hem before cutting out the front piece. So this is the front piece I've been drafting all along. So next we're going to cut like so. And this is what we have. This excess allowance, we don't need it. So the next thing now is to place this on another piece of fabric and cut out the back piece. So the back is going to be bigger by 2 inches or at most 2.5 inches. So at the end of the day, this is what we are going to have. All those parts are going to be folded in and then we'll see. Okay. So at this point, I was contemplating reducing that 6 inches to 5.5. I left it, but I still went ahead to do it later. So on the back piece now, I am placing the front piece on it, making sure that the folded ends are matching. Then I went ahead to mark 2 inches at the top, and then on the crotch line, I left it at 2.5 inches. So at the top, you can actually use 1 inch and it will work, or even 1.5. But I just decided to use 2 inches in this case. Then on this part, I marked extra 2 and then another 2 at this bottom. So we're going to connect all 3 points together. I went ahead now to increase the length from that 8.5. I went ahead to increase it to 9.5. Let it just be a little below the knee or something. And I also reduced the round measurement to 5.5 inches. So I went ahead to connect it back to that part. It was looking so small, even though the baby is small, but it was looking so small. So I just had to increase it. You know, they grow fast, so who knows. So now I have length of 9.5 inches, and then the round measurement on the knee part is 5.5. That's 11 inches in total. So I went ahead back to adjust the back piece to 2 inches extra, and now it's time to cut. On the crotch line also, you can add it by just 2 inches and it will still work. It doesn't have to be up to 2.5 like I did here. Next step, I went ahead to open the pieces into two, both the front and the back. The next step now is to go sew the crotch line using 1/2 inch on both pieces. After that, I went ahead to place them right sides together and I will be sewing the sides by half inch and then the inseam also by half inch, making sure that the crotch points are matching properly. After that, this is it. I will give it a good press, and then the next step is to hem the leg part and also the upper part where the elastic will pass. For the lower part, I think I have about 1.5 inches left after I increased the length. So I'm going to make sure I fold it to that measurement. At the end of the day, we should have 9.5 inches length for this short. So for the elastic piece, the waist measurement is 20 inches. So I took out 5 inches from it, making it 15. So the elastic is about 15 inches in length. I joined it together like so, and next time I'm going to pass it through, pass the trouser in between the elastic like so, and then I will fold it over and stretch while I sew, because I don't have the strength to be dealing with twisted elastic at this point. So I'll just keep pulling the elastic and sewing around the waistline until we are done, and then I'll also hem the lower part, making sure the measurement there is accurate. And that is it for how to make these beautiful cute shorts for a 1 year old baby boy. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Sorry. And also, if you're interested in one-on-one class with me, I will leave my WhatsApp link in the description box and also in the comment section. Message me and we can talk about it. Thank you again for watching. Please like this video if you haven't, share it with a friend who might need it, and subscribe if you haven't already, and also click on the notification bell. So many instructions. Bye.